So this is pound yen H4 chart. Not surprising to see this chart. There's no clear direction as well. Main reason it is quite similar to pound dollar. The dynamics between pound yen and pound dollar. It is UK, US, Japan. So UK is quite standard. The Brexit concern plus if it's good data. So this is the two driving force of UK. And US and Japan, it will be depending on their monetary policies. So Japan monetary policies, I think they are still like wait and see, even though Shinzo Abe and Trump has met last weekend, but nothing concrete. But what we have seen in the news, it seems that Trump is quite positive in terms of a personal relationship with Shinzo Abe. So he sort of backed Japan up 100% when it comes to the North Korea test firing kind of situation. But in terms of trade and currency wise, he did not really mention much. He leave it to his team to negotiate the rest. But on a personal note, at least he's not on bad terms with Japan, the Japan leader. So he's quite on a good term in a way. So Japan's side, we do expect them to maintain their monetary policy, waiting for actions from US instead. So I think they are smart enough to wait for US to do all the dirty work for them. So if by strengthening the US with the dollar strengthening, relatively the yen will remain weak. So it is good for Japan in terms for their exports and also for them to hit their inflation target. So having said all this, if Japan maintains status quo, no big change to their monetary policy, sterling is a common denominator for pound dollar and pound yen. And US dollar will be the driving force for of course pound dollar and dollar yen. So having said all this, the conclusion between pound dollar and pound yen, most likely in the near term they will have similar behavior. So you will be trading the UK news on sterling yen as well. So this is my comments, but I also know that if you finger is very itchy, you really want to trade this pair, okay, here's what I'm going to do. If you use a gun and point it to my head and say win, I don't care, you must give me something for this pair. If that is the case, then I will use technical to give my way of trading. That means I put aside all the UK news, just purely looking at the chart. The price action, of course, the near-term price action is heading upwards, bullish, but sort of finding a pause over here. Okay, I'm going to put some levels and prices for your consideration. $14240, that will be the resistance that I'm seeing at the moment. Prices is squeezing itself towards 14240. No no catalyst to push it higher. So the two suggestions over here, as usual, I'll draw my box for a long trade. So this is a long suggestion. I put a vertical line, time of the webinar. If the candle close into the blue box, okay, I need the blue box to be higher. Okay, at least higher than the last tail over there. Okay, somewhere in the blue box, that will be a blue box, close into the blue box or beyond the blue box, higher than the blue box is fine. That will be the signal for me to go long. That is an aggressive way of going long. If you prefer a more conservative way, then you wait for price to go up beyond the blue box. Oops. Then when price retrace back downwards and bounce back up again to where the blue box is, if it closes around the blue box or higher, that would be the conservative entry. Okay, the second, the green arrow, I'm going to change the arrow to a green color. The green arrow is basically the more conservative entry. So that's one. And of course, the risky trade, I would say, going against the momentum. Okay, it's an upward momentum. Some of you who like to trade a counter trend, for example, then this would be a suggestion over here at the blue box. If candle close below at the blue box or lower, that would be my signal to go short if I want to take a short trade. Okay, so this is my technical suggestion for pound yen. Again, I like to caution, technical trade, usually I don't take it around the news or data time. So if you look at the news calendar, you could go to fxstreet.com, you will see the calendar, and take note of all the UK news, especially the orange and the red flag ones. And usually new UK news is around afternoon time, GMT plus 8 time zone, usually between 3 to 5 p.m. that kind of time. So during the time, I would not usually apply any technical trading on the sterling pairs. I may choose to switch to a news trading strategy for the sterling pairs instead. Okay, so the comments over here use a news trading strategy for this pair, or this is a technical suggestion out of the news trading window, which is typically plus minus 1 to 2 hours before and after the news or data release. Okay, when there's a question on my screen, how many pips am I going to take? Usually for last time I used to look at support resistance and tell me where to place my take profit. Nowadays I tend to leave my take profit open. So when I mention use support and resistance to tell me where to take profit, I will use this pound yen as an example to illustrate. Assuming if I, for this short trade example, okay, if price really close below and then give me an entry to go short, my first milestone, or rather first profit target, would be the box over here, the green box over here, because that's where before price is hit into the immediate support. So that's usually my first milestone where I decide whether to close partially or close off all the position. And for the long trade over here, if it fulfills the criteria for me to go long, then where is my target? For this trade, if I look at the chart over here, it doesn't give me any reference for the next resistance. That's basically, unless I start to scroll back the chart, I shall not go into that yet. But we make it simple. Just look at this chart. If there are no reference to any immediate resistance, as you can see, no candlestick. So what I'll do, I'll just leave my take profit open, part 1. And once the price move in my direction, about 90% of my stop loss. Example, if I place a stop loss of 50 pips for this long trade, 90% of 50 pips is 45 pips plus minus. So as long as the market move in my favor around 45 pips, 42, 44, 45, around there, I will decide whether to take partial profit, or minimum I will do is shift my stop loss to my entry price. That is the minimum I would do. Then I let the price go. Depends on how far I want to go. Of course, if the price doesn't have momentum to go any further and start to drop to hit my stop loss, then I'll get out. I mean, the stop loss would close my trade for me, and I don't make much, or most likely I will break even in that case. But at least I don't lose from the trade. So I don't have a fixed pips that I would take from the market. I'll let the market decide how much the market wants to give me. After all, the market is a 5 trillion market. My bank account doesn't have 5 trillion. So I leave it to the big boys to tell me how much they want to give me.